do you have a mantra in mind for riding skinnies?
You and I are a little bit different. There are times when I will talk to myself, but I'm not a mantra guy most of the time. But here's what I will say, and I think a lot of people will be able to take away from this, and that is, don't focus on the things that you don't want to happen. That seems like such a simple thing to say and do, but in practice, it becomes really hard. So the first thing that you think about when you get to a skinny like that is you're like, oh my gosh, that's a 10-foot drop, right?
I don't want to fall off. Yes.
Yeah, that was your first thought. And my first thought when I looked at that was, oh, that's just 8 feet that I have to traverse and it's straight. I didn't think about, oh, what would happen if I fell off? Because that's not the thought that I want at the top of my trailhead. When I'm at the top of my trailhead, I want to think about, okay, it's 8 foot of straight line. I can do that. And so that's what I thought about.
What's the best that can happen? What's the best that can happen?
What's the best that can happen?
Yeah.
That mindset of, I am a good mountain bike rider. I know how to ride on a straight line. And all I have to do is pretend this is on flat ground. I'm not 4 feet up in the air. I'm on a flat ground and I just happen to be doing a teeter-totter. Those are the things that I think about, because you had mentioned this before. When you're doing a skinny, everybody can ride a straight line when you're on the ground, right? Like if you think about how wide a skinny typically is, you're probably looking at about a foot, right? Give or take. Some are wider, some are skinnier, but everyone that's ridden proper single track has ridden on a foot wide trail.
Yeah.
So what's the difference, right? Yeah. The difference is the skinny is up in the air, right? So if you can, that's right. So if you can eliminate that thought and focus on the positive part, I can ride in a straight line. That's all I'm thinking about. That's all. If you start, you know what? Exposure is the same way. Exposure is when we went to Arizona. And you're like, there's exposure to the, and we're talking about, a couple 100 feet of cliff falling. Never even occurred to me. I'm so dialed in onto the trail.
Yes, it didn't bother you. Yeah,
it does not.
You were famously scared of heights.
I am deathly afraid of heights. That's so true.
I've seen it. I've seen it, everybody. I've seen him like crapping his pants, scared of heights, like immobile, scared of heights. And then you did like a skinny that at one point, a different skinny that at one point was probably like 7 feet off the ground. Plus you're on top of you're riding your bike. So you're probably 10 feet off the ground on like a half a foot of wood, and you're fine. Yeah. It's so much approach. I love that. I love the don't think about what you don't want to happen.
That's right.
That is exactly what I did. I looked at all the bad things that could happen, and you got to go in what's the best that could happen. And it's right. And it's what, like I was saying before, knowing your destination is important. You don't go to a restaurant and tell the waiter what you don't want to order. Right? Yeah. I'm not going to have this. There's, like, I don't want this to happen. I don't want this to happen. I don't want this to happen. Yeah. There's one thing we want to happen, and it's to get the end of that skinny and feel good about it. Absolutely.
That's right.